Hello, I'm Alicia Davis,
And I'm Stacy Watson.
and we are the co-owners and coaches at Transformative Leadership Strategies. And we always try to bring something that we have been hearing themes from our clients around, right, Stace, to our videos here.
Absolutely.
And, we just have been, and ourselves included, but as well as the leaders and folks that we're supporting, we've just been hearing a lot about how many decisions people and leaders are needing to make right now and how challenging it is, right?
Oh my goodness, yes, absolutely. And I think, even decisions that used to be maybe once a year decisions or, at some frequency, those decisions are now at a different pace. Like maybe I'm having to think about that every month or every quarter as opposed to some other period of time. So yeah, it's like things are coming fast and furious. There's so much uncertainty still. And all of the things that make decision making challenging, I feel like that's kind of the reality for most of us right now.
That's right. And I think, one of the things that we are always trying to do is just really normalize people's experiences. And I think, this came actually out of one of our webinars months ago, but that somebody was talking about, because of COVID and because of how many decisions we have to make now, the executive function of our brain is being taxed more, right? Like, so we're
Yes,
not just right, we're not just thinking, and maybe it's a little bit easier now, but you have to like make all these plans about how you're going to go to the grocery store or
right.
consider if you're going to go visit somebody, like how do you do it safely and be outside and look at the weather, and like all of this process has to happen where everything it used to be so much of that was just easy. And so
Right.
to right so to be able to support your brain capacity in actually making decisions, I think it's a little bit of a different process right now.
Oh, for sure. It absolutely is. I mean, just recognizing that, I think, to your point, is so important that we're making decisions about things we used to not think much about at all the time. And that can be exhausting. And it can make it even more challenging when it comes time to make decisions we know we need to make, right? That are part of our jobs or part of our roles, because we're already feeling a little bit tapped out on that.
That's right.
It's interesting. I was just telling you, I was listening to, we love Brene Brown, and I was
Mhm.
listening to one of her podcasts, and she was talking about sort of the value of not knowing as a leader. I think
Mm,
oftentimes as leaders, we may feel like we need to know, like we need to have the answer. People are looking to us. And sometimes that's true. We do. And she was just talking about the value of asking really good questions and kind of really creating an environment where you're asking your team and the people around you to ask really good questions, because the
mhm.
idea is that if we're asking the right questions, we're likely getting better inputs, which certainly can lead to hopefully better decision making.
That's
So
right.
I think part of the process is really allowing ourselves to be learners and not necessarily knowers. So I think that's a
Mm.
piece of it. And then you had some other thoughts about how we can support ourselves, right?
Well, yeah, and it actually just it plays on exactly what you're talking about in terms of leadership, right? So like for example, like my partner and I we're looking for a house, right?
Yes.
We're trying to decide, do we buy the house that we're in or do we go out in the crazy world of real estate right now, right?
Yes.
And there's so many options, right? And so what we've just really tried to do is get very um, some structure around it. Like we're getting, so you just said, right, get input. Well, we're getting input from different experts around quotes, around things that need to get potentially get done in the house that we're living in. And we're getting input from real estate agents and from our lawyer. And, we're trying to break it down into, okay, what's the next most important step we need to take? Well, we need to do this and send it to our current landlord. And then we need to schedule this conversation. Great. So it's, I think it can be what you're just talking about is really important no matter what kind of a decision you're making, is just
That's
getting
right.
getting curious, asking the right questions, getting the information, not getting all caught up in, oh my gosh, what's going to happen, da, da, da. Just get the information and then just really as much as possible try to feel supported in the decision that you're making, and then just make the next thing. And then I think it's really, really, really important to then just let it go, right?
Yes.
like not let the guilt or the wondering, or if criticism, self-criticism or judgment comes up, it's like, okay, I made the best decision that I could with the information that I had. Take a breath, let it go, next, right? Because I
Right.
think there's just so much of that going on right now.
Oh, for sure. We call it blessing and releasing, right? When you
Yes,
really have done everything that you can do and you've made the decision as best you could based on all the information that you had at the moment. And I guess the other thing I would just observe here is that I feel like things are changing so much as it
hmm,
relates to COVID, as it relates to how we're sort of managing and navigating through society right now, that we can all kind of expect that a lot of the decisions that we're making will probably be temporary decisions. We'll be
hmm,
revisiting some of those decisions. Everything from, as you were saying, how can I be outside and be with people, right? We're
yep,
reevaluating that. And people are coming up with different answers to those questions and
that's
figuring out
right,
how to make space for everyone's comfort around that. So I just feel like a big theme, I think, around this whole idea of, how can I make decisions is to be able to say, how can I make the decision I need to make right now? And
that's right.
be open and okay with the idea that I might be revisiting that at some point in the future.
That's right. Absolutely. So we'd love to, hear some feedback. Feel free to email us info@tlstransforms.com. And thanks for listening. Take good
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.